my energies? Welcome back to my channel. Salute to you, your inner god or goddess, and your gangsta. So this video is going to be a review of my experience driving for Uber. I've come up with this kind of like rating system for my reviews. So let me know if y'all like it in the comments, right? You got a thumbs down, thumbs in the middle, thumbs up, right? Thumbs down, no thanks, I've heard enough. Thumbs in the middle, cool story, bro. Thumbs up, ooh, tell me more. I think it's cool, right? As opposed to like a 1, 2, 3 or like a Today has been a crazy morning. I woke up early to go to a reservation that I made with Avis in the city to start driving with Uber. Got there, they didn't have any cars available. Okay, so she's like, the woman was like, I'll let you know something by 3 o'clock because we close at 3 o'clock. I was like, let me see what Hertz has going on. And actually, I should have just came to Hertz first. I wasted money taking a Lyft into the city to that place for nothing to happen. And then I also wasted money coming here. So I'm showing you these, side note, I'm showing the apartments here because these are the apartments I originally applied for. Because I wanted to live on Veterans Boulevard. And I think my apartment would have been that one right there. I think C5. I remember looking up the place on, I looked it up on Google Maps and I'm like, oh my God, this is perfect. Anyway, back to my story. So I get here to Hertz and I'm at the counter, about to do the whole, payment situation. Hand her my ID and my credit card, my debit card. And she's like, now, do you have the Uber driver app? And I'm like, oh no, I have the regular app. And she's like, no, you need to do the Uber driver app. I'm like, okay, so I download it. And then it shows that my background check hasn't been approved yet. Mind you, I sent the background check in. Like that was the first thing I sent. And whatever other stuff they need. The only thing that I sent in late was the photo because they kept rejecting my photo. In short, I have wasted money on Ubers and Lyfts today that I just did not have to waste money on. I just didn't have to. And I have not eaten for the day. I'm hungry as hell. I guess I'll go see what they have. Okay, so these are the supplies I picked up. They give you a budget of like $50 for supplies. So they give you hand sanitizer. I got some Uber stickers. They give you masks, some Clorox. So I'm pretty nervous, and I was telling the young lady who gave me my cleaning supplies that I was nervous because number one, I've never driven strangers. Like anytime I had a car of my own, it was just me and friends. Good morning, my energies. Today is another day. Today is actually day 2 that I will be driving Uber. It's 7:30. I wanted to be on the road by like 7 a.m. but I'm not a morning person and I'm not gonna hold you late. That's just not. So 7:30 is the best I could do today. As I get into the swing of things, I'll probably be able to get up earlier and be out on the road earlier so I can finish earlier. Because even though I'm not a morning person, any job that I've ever had, I always work like morning shift. Like I always want to be done by 1, 2, 3 o'clock and have the rest of my day to myself. So I'm trying to model this job the same way. So what I think I'm gonna do today is drive 4 hours because I drove 3 hours yesterday. Drive 4 hours, take an hour break, and drive the other 4, and that'll be my 8 hours for the day. You can't go beyond 12 hours with Uber. And 8 hours technically is full-time anyway, so I'm not really trying to go over that time. So we're gonna see how today goes. Yeah, I'm gonna keep you guys updated throughout the whole process. Ooh, my hair looks a little crazy. All right, let's get it going. So I just had a rider get dropped off over here at Tulane. This is the second person for today that I dropped off at a Tulane University location. Quick update. I stopped. I've been driving for like, I think 6 hours or so. It hasn't been too busy. And I'll break down some more Uber, I don't know, things you should know. I'm having a brain fart. You do start off at the blue level, which means that you kind of just get any kind of rides. Whatever rides you get, you should just accept them. Obviously, because you want to make money, but also because you're new, you're newbie, so you just get whatever rides they give you. Whereas once you move up to the gold level, you are able to see the distance. Remember I was talking about, like, I want to be able to know how far these people are going before I pick the ride up or accept the ride. You can't do that as a blue level driver or a new driver. You have to just take whatever rides they give you. So it's now 1 o'clock here. I stopped to use the bathroom. I think that's going to be the most annoying part, having to find somewhere to use the bathroom. Like, there are places to go, but like, it's just, I don't know. I actually stopped and used the bathroom in Ulta, and then I went into PetSmart to see if I could find some things for my cat. I'm gonna drive for maybe 2 more hours just so I make my 8-hour mark. And then I'm gonna, run some little errands and then head home. I am a little tired. I feel like I've just been consistently tired since I moved here. I don't know what it is. I think part of it is the time, because they are an hour behind. So the time kind of moves slow to me. It's not a dramatic time shift, but it just feels like the days here are so much slower. And the pace obviously is slower as well. But like, I don't know. I also stayed up dumb late on FaceTime with my best friend, so that doesn't help. But yeah, I don't know. There's something to be said about the time here. It's weird. It just drags. So 2 more hours of driving. I did see a feature where I can like filter rides to be near my home, so I'm gonna try that out and see what happens. I didn't know I could do that. I thought that might have been like a next level type of option, but we'll see if it works. And I'll just stay in my area so it's easier for me to get home. But yeah, today's been pretty decent, not too bad. And I've only done about I think I've done maybe 6 or 7 rides. That's the thing about driving. It's like, with this whole Uber situation, it feels like you've been driving forever and you've been picking up so many people when you really haven't. You have to factor in that you have to get to the location, pick the person up, and then drop them off at a location. Obviously, there's common sense. Like, it doesn't sound as tiresome as it feels, if that makes any sense. Like, actually doing it is like, yo, I've been driving for hours. And you have, but you haven't really done that many rides. Maybe I'll go home, take a little break, and then come back out later during those peak hours, which are like 12 a.m. to 4 a.m. and do a few rides then. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see how I'm feeling. This is day 3 of Uber driving. I'm heading to New Orleans. It's very early morning. It's like 6:39, 6:40. And where I live, there were no rides. I'm online technically. And so I said, let me just go to New Orleans because I know it's going to be busier there. It's the city. So I'm heading there now. See if I can get my thing to focus. Should be a little bit more, rider traffic, I guess. It's the best way to put it. Just because, it's a tourist area. So there's got to be people there that need rides this early in the morning. This is prime time for those points that you have to earn with Uber. So there are, hours where you earn like triple the points. So that's what I'm trying to earn today and be done early because I actually have plans later. It's kind of addictive, to be honest. Yeah, you make money, but it's kind of addictive. Like when you get a ride request, you like automatically want to accept it. Like even if you're in a present ride, like in a current ride, you're like, yeah, I'm gonna take the next one. And I get it. I can see how people do this all day long. But it's also tiring. I was exhausted last night. Like, sis passed out. Like, I was knocked. I went to bed maybe, I don't even think it was 9 o'clock when I went to bed. It had to be like 8:30. I was knocked out. So the good thing is I woke up early, obviously. I did try the filter, trips near my home, like on my way home yesterday when I was wrapping up. And I got maybe 2 or 3 trips near my home, and then I just was like, yeah, I'm done, let me turn this off. I gotta talk to y'all about this car. Like, the car is great, but it's dirty, and I'm like, why would y'all give me a rental that's dirty? Like, come on, Hertz. Like, it needs to be washed, and you know, you want to present as well as possible for your clients or for your riders or whatever. I don't really care. 9 times out of 10 when I'm, you know, taking an Uber or a Lyft somewhere, I'm not really checking the outside of the car. I'm checking the inside. The inside isn't too bad. I kind of dusted off my mats before I started when I sanitize, because you have to sanitize every morning. You have to send Uber a picture with you in your mask. Like, they not playing no games. So we're still on day 3. 2 things I gotta tell y'all. Number 1, I think I almost got scammed. When I picked up my car 2 days ago, the woman was like, oh, I see you haven't done any rides yet. I'm like, yeah, it's my first day. She's like, so how do you feel? I'm like, I feel nervous, like having strangers in the car with me. She's like, I totally understand you. I have a friend that's going to start driving soon, and she feels the same way. And I felt the same way when I started. So I'm like, okay, cool. She was like, but you're not alone. We always know where you are when you're using the app, where you start, where you end when you pick up people. We vet people that we, you know, let ride with Uber, whether it's through Facebook or whether it's through the app itself. We know the people, we vet them basically. So one of the things she told me was, if anyone from Uber ever calls you asking for your credit card information or anything like that, don't give it to them, because Uber would never do that. Boom. So now you got the backstory. I drove to New Orleans like I said I was gonna do. I got one ride there. And then I got another ride request. So I accepted, and I drive to the location. So I'm stopped in the street. I put my hazard lights on. I'm stopped in the street, and I'm looking for Logan. There's no Logan to the left of me. I'm sitting there like, okay, where's this person at? I'm sitting there. So I just have to call, because I always call. I know some people cancel like immediately when you don't show up. And I might start doing that based on this situation, right? A guy answers, and I'm like, okay, this is Logan. He's like, hi, miss, are you with Uber? Or whatever he said. I don't remember how he said it, but basically he made himself seem official, like he worked for Uber. Mind you, now you know what the woman told me, like, don't give your information. I didn't have that in the back of my mind at the time. I'm thinking I'm calling my rider, and then I'm somehow magically transferred to Uber. I don't know how that would happen, but so he's like, yeah, I work for Uber. I'm like, I have a ride. The person is not. He's like, it looks like the ride's been canceled. Your call has been transported to Uber or whatever, or transferred to Uber, is because you were reported. And I'm like, I was reported? Like, you know, you tell somebody that just started, they're going to be like, for what? Like, what did I do? So he's like, yeah, it looks like you've been reported. Looks like a rider reported you yesterday. Have you been wearing your mask? And I'm like, yes, I've had my mask on the entire time I've been driving people. So he's like, yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure why that came up for you, blah, 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 blah. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. He was like, have you had any problems with any driver or any riders recently? And I'm like, yeah, I had one yesterday. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. She just seemed like she was upset that I got a little lost trying to find her. But it was literally the Uber navigation is a little confusing. I would personally rather use like Google Maps, but when it's connected to this car through the wire, through my USB, I don't hear Google Maps. I like to hear it speaking to me so I know. Then he starts asking me like, what car are you driving? Like, when I tell you, I'm typically aware of when things seem weird and seem off, but it didn't hit me until the end. Right before I got off the phone with him, I'm like, okay, what's your name? What's the number where I can reach you? And the number that he was calling from, right? Because I dialed the quote unquote client's number. The number that he was calling from was some weird 969 number or some shit like that. I'm like, yo, this is a scam. And it literally didn't hit me until the last few seconds of the phone call. I'm like, oh my God, this girl told me not to give my information to anybody. I gave him the car, make and model, the license plate number. I'm legitimately thinking like he's checking on whatever. But if you ride or drive for Uber, they have your information. There's no reason for them to call you and ask you for that. So let this be a warning to anyone that, you know, is thinking about driving for Uber or drives for Uber and has never had this happen to them. Like, anybody calls you saying they're from Uber, anybody texts you saying they're from Uber, anytime you get a ride and the ride just miraculously doesn't show up, but then all of a sudden you call the person and it goes to some random person and they say, hey, I'm from Uber, do not believe that shit. Don't believe it. It's a scam. He asked me how much money I had earned over the 3 days, because I was like, when he was like, somebody report, I'm like, I've only been driving for 3 days. And he was like, yeah, I see you've only been driving for 3 days. But he didn't say that until I said it. And when I got off the phone, I'm like replaying everything in my head. I'm like, yo, this nigga didn't even say that I was driving for 3 days until I'm the one that told him I was driving for 3 days. You know what I mean? That's how people get you. They make you feel comfortable. They make you feel like they're official, and you start to give up information, and then they use the same information you're giving to them. Oh, and what bank do you use? I told him what bank I use, like a dummy. And I'm just sitting here like, yo, what? He was like, oh, have you cashed out recently? And I'm like, no, because I just started. It's only been 3 days. I'm not cashing out my money yet. But when I got off the phone with him, I'm like, nah, let me cash my shit out right now, because now they're going to try to get into my shit and take my money. Absolutely not. So I cashed my money out as soon as I got off the phone with him. I wrote down the number and everything, wrote down his name, which is probably a fake name. I don't know what number he gave me, whatever. But I wrote it down just for receipt purposes. So I'm assuming, just based on my experience that I briefly had, that Uber scammers are going to, in terms of calls and texts or things like, or emails, whatever, they're going to target you on a weekend. I say that because Uber support is only available Monday through Friday. So if you get caught up in a scam on a Saturday or Sunday, you shit out of luck. You got to wait till Monday for them to help you or whatever. I don't know if they reimburse you, because like I said, I just started. I don't think they're going to reimburse you, because you should have been, using your discretion. Do not give your information out to anyone who claims they are calling from Uber, texting you from Uber, emailing you from Uber, saying you need to change your password or anything like that. I changed my password too, because like after it happened, I'm super thorough, but I wasn't thorough in that moment. But I'm very thorough typically. And so once it happened, I was like, nah, this feels like a scam. Like, he asked me these questions, and that just didn't feel right. Like, why are you asking these questions? So I hopped on YouTube looking for Uber scam calls, and I found a video, and someone had said that it just happened to them. Like, what do I do? And so the guy was like, change your password, blah, 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 blah. So I changed my password. I cashed out my money. And once Monday rolls around, I'm going to contact Uber and let them know, because that's the shitty part of it, is like, y'all are not even open Saturday and Sunday. So these people are going to target you on a weekend. You get a high volume of, driver requests or Uber requests on a weekend, because people are out having fun, whatever. And y'all are not open to help anybody. You're not open to help your drivers. So it's like, what are people supposed to do? Then I get another request. At this point, I'm like on edge. I'm like, yo, stop playing with me. So I get to the crib of the woman, right? I get there, I'm sitting outside her house, and she's taking a few minutes. So I call. Like I told y'all, I always call first. So I'm like, hey, Talia, is this? She's like, yeah, I see your car outside. I'm coming. She opens the door. I'm like, okay, good. It's an actual person, right? I'm excited that it's an actual person. I'm like, hey, good morning. She's like, hello. And she sits down. I said, oh God, no. Like, no, you already starting off bad. So I'm driving her, following the directions on the Uber driver app navigation, right? And she was like, oh no, don't make that turn. I forgot that part is closed off, or whatever she told me. So I keep going straight, and she's like, no, don't go. But she's saying things after the fact. She's one of those. Like, you can't depend on her to give you directions when you're driving somewhere long distance, because she's going to fuck you up. The storage on my phone was low, and so my story got cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish the story for you. And I'm also going to tell you some other things that happened after that. So boom. The rest of the story with that passenger that I had basically is this. She kept giving me directions last minute. When I was supposed to make a left turn, she's like, oh, don't go that way. I forgot the road is closed off. So I ended up going straight. I'm going straight. I end up on the highway. I think she called her friend, right? And so the friend is speaking English, like, oh my God, what's going on? And she's like talking to somebody else in the back, like, oh my God, her Uber driver is lost. Her Uber driver got her lost. And then they start going into Spanish, because she was Hispanic, right? And so she's like, ay Dios mío, like, da-da-da, like the person on the phone. I'm like, bro, like, your friend is not giving good directions. What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? Long story short, she ended up getting dropped off at the Courtyard Marriott. Like, she got dropped off at a hotel. And so she had on like her work clothes, but it was like she spent the night somewhere else and she was going to work. You know what I'm saying? Like morning after type vibes. I'm like, I'm not trying to kidnap her. I literally had to say that. I'm like, don't worry, I'm gonna get you where you gotta go. I'm not trying to kidnap you. Because she had an attitude like, oh, just go straight. And then you're gonna make a turn here. Like, she started talking to me like I was stupid. But you're the reason we're lost. You understand that, right? I told you that I'm not from here. So, like, I'm not understanding the attitude. Anyway, child, that was the end of that story. But that wasn't the end of that day. Okay, so quick video. It is the end of my Uber day. well, kinda, sorta. I'm actually heading to meet a friend for drinks. I'm in New Orleans currently. I just got here, so I'm about to hop out the car because I'm late. I don't know why. That's not something you should do that to, but I'm late. So yeah, I'm about to go. Stay tuned. So I hung out with my friend. I had a good time. I had a really good time. And I was on my way home, but then I decided to make some more money with Uber. And it's a zoo out here right now, like a zoo, baby. So I'm probably gonna do like 2-3 hours tops, and then I'm going home. Cause I know there's a surge, so I'm like, I'm gonna get this extra money. This is crazy though, like bananas. I'm gonna show y'all. It's really a zoo out here, guys. Like officially, there's cars everywhere. It's very hard to get through. I gotta clean this because this looks horrible. It's a zoo. So instead of going home, I decided to go make some more money. Bad idea. I should have just went home. Bad idea.